Mhm. Hold on.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Owner's Box here on Have No Idea YouTube, something also wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Billy Koch, founder, managing partner at Little Red Feather Racing Club. Michelle Yu joins me. Michelle, you look bright. I look pale for some reason. I don't know
You
if
do
it's
look very pale compared. I look very brown, and I
I'm
haven't
like
even
washed
tan.
out or something. It's
It's been pretty warm over here.
no, it's this Kentucky weather. Hold on, let me darken it a little bit. There, that's better. I don't look as horrific as I did 2 seconds ago.
You didn't look terrific. You just
We
looked
have
a
a
little
great show today. Brook Smith's going to join us, Rocket Ship Racing, and
very cool.
he owns a part of Sierra Leone, who, as we know, ran second by about this much in the Kentucky Derby. He also is he's very philanthropic, so we're going to find out about that. He's just an overall cool guy. I think he's going to have a lot of fun. So that's coming up. But first, we have huge news about the Preakness that by the time the show goes up, it won't be that big. But
I mean, I guess we could post this immediately, right?
yeah,
But yeah, the big news coming out this morning that we're recording this is Muth, a scratch from the Preakness, and he was definitely the heavy favorite in there. He got a shipping fever, which is not uncommon.
right.
I
I mean,
think
I love
people
all
are
the conspiracy
right.
theories.
It's
Like,
crazy. It is
horses get
crazy.
fevers all the time. Just was
Yeah.
bad timing.
It was.
So
And I mean, look, I think who was it that Mandela shipped out something like to maybe Breeders' Cup, and was it someone, shipped to Breeders'
yeah,
Cup and then got a shipping fever, couldn't run. I mean,
yeah,
it happens all the time. It's not like it's just some weird thing.
right,
If he wasn't doing good, they wouldn't have put him on the plane.
right, exactly.
Because it still costs $10,000 to keep them there and
It
back.
really changes the complexion of the race
It does.
because now it looks like Imagination's kind of like lone speed, right? And that
Mhm.
track generally is speed favoring. I say generally. Also, it's taken a lot of rain. It's supposed to rain on Saturday. Could be sloppy. A lot of times in those sloppy tracks, horses just get out there and just keep going. So
Mhm.
I think it probably moves up the chances of Imagination. Obviously, it benefits Mystic Dan, who all of a sudden,
Well, yes and
is
no,
kind of,
right? I think Mystic Dan still wants some pace to run at. He's not
yeah.
25 lengths out of it,
No, but
but
exactly. But I just think you take Muth out, and all of a sudden you know, I think with Muth in there, I think Muth was going to be 6-5. I think he was going to be a lot of single on gamblers tickets. But with him out there, I think Mystic Dan's likely to be the favorite.
mhm,
And now we're talking about a legitimate Triple Crown contender because the Belmont, remember, is at 1.25 miles this year,
yeah,
not 1.5 miles. And if he
mhm,
gets a good trip here and all of a sudden he's 2 for 2, I mean, listen, for horse racing, that's good, right?
yes, yes.
If Mystic Dan, if you're not betting on the race and you're just rooting for someone and you don't care, root for Mystic Dan.
Prove of his man, yeah, yes. He's got
Exactly.
great connections all around. We listened to one of his owners last week on our show, and he's
Right.
the little guy. He's a homebred by Golden Sense, who is a $10,000 down. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Spencer.
Uh,
Yeah, no,
so
I agree. And I think, listen, I think the kind of what's the now horse or the wise guy horse is the Chad Brown, right?
yeah.
And
I
then
like
catching,
that horse, though. He brings the same pattern in as early voting, and we saw early
yep,
voting take the Preakness. I think that he's been working right along. And look, Chad wants some redemption, right? Sierra Leone didn't beat Mystic Dan.
yeah,
Chad's like, I can still win a race, and the Preakness for him has been a really good race.
absolutely. I agree with you. I think, and obviously Catching Freedom is the other horse. I think the winner comes from those
He's
four
just
horses that
so
we
up
talked about.
against it from a pace standpoint, right? I mean, the way that Pimlico
Pratt
plays.
is so smart. He's so smart. He rides so well, and he knows this horse. And I don't think Brad Cox would have put this horse in if he didn't think he had a chance. Because I saw some note that Brad Cox has only run like one horse in the Preakness or something like that over the
I'll tell
years.
you what, though, if it does come up off, I would upgrade Catching Freedom's chances, because I watched him gallop today in the slop, and he was such a
Loving it.
happy clam. Oh yeah, loving it.
Loving it
Some
out
horses
here.
you can
Was he
tell
loving it out
that
here?
he's loving it out there,
All
just
right, so
loving it.
that's our Preakness update. Michelle, what are our other three things of note? Anything good happening in the
Yeah.
world of horse racing?
So I think, like, maybe touched on it, maybe off air, but it's the Timonium sale coming up, which is a sale that goes on in Maryland. It's around Preakness time, and they had the Breeze Up start, but they were postponed because of the weather today, so they're going to pick up another day. But if you're in Baltimore for the, up in that vicinity, you might want to check out the sales. It is like a more select type catalog. There's only like 600 or 700 horses in there.
It's cool.
And
The
they
sale's
do
cool.
work on dirt, which
Yeah.
is, I think, very important for people because all of our other big undertax sales are on synthetic.
Oh, yes, I agree. It's a really cool sale. And if you haven't been up to Timonium, it's kind of a cool place. We will be there in full force looking for the next superstar.
Excellent.
I was going to say, do you want to hear what I did? I took a minute today to go do. I went to a couple of my stores because it's going to rain. And I was thinking like I could wear like a cool little like wax rain.
Oh, like a duck jacket?
Kind of like something like that. And I couldn't find one. And it kind of bummed me out. But I'm just going to go with my.
Go to Keeneland. They'll have like a nice.
I know, but then they were like warm. They were like too warm. It's going to be so humid. I wanted something like light. I'm just going to end up in my stupid blue blazer that I always wear, but I have a cool pocket square, so that's going to accentuate it.
You could just get some Scotch Guard, and you could Scotch Guard.
I don't care if I get wet. Like, what's the difference? So what? I get a little wet.
Right. Also, my third thing of note is that we had, I would say, and I don't have numbers, the most successful digital sale ever. With this
don't have numbers.
Digital sale. Well, I don't have numbers, but I mean, I follow all these digital sales, right? Because we're always bidding on horses, and
we bought one.
I know you. I like that horse that you bought, the More Than Ready. You just had more money than me. I was alive to the last click on Bull D'Oro short yearling, and then like when it was like dee. It was like click over, and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
It's so frustrating. It's
I had
so
been
annoying.
like the first bidder all the way up till then. I liked Nelson Avenue. I had bid on him up to like 25,000, thinking he'd be a good like opening day 16 horse for Del Mar, but he ended up going for like 40-some-odd-thousand.
Yeah, it's funny because I said to myself, actually, we've talked a lot about sales and what you do at sales, and I was like, I really set my limit at 65 for that horse. And then I was like, right when I hit 65, I went to 70. And I was like, God damn it. I was so pissed. And I was talking to my guys who we were buying the horse with kind of via text on the phone. I'm like, guys, I really didn't want to pay 75. They're like, just do it.
Right.
So,
see, that's the thing that you get into though, when you're like, okay, this is a great deal. And then all of a sudden you're like 25,000 above and you're like,
yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. It's pretty funny. Anyway,
but I thought it was really interesting that you guys tried to put a couple of horses in there.
Yeah, we didn't get our reserve. So Kitty Katana's going to keep running. She's a 2 other than. We have conditions. She'll and we'll sell her in November. And then Comanche Country, same thing. I mean,
and Comanche Country ran really well in the.
Yeah, she ran okay. We'll try to find some good spots for her and do the same thing and sell her in November. So we thought we'd take a shot, test the waters, and it just didn't work out.
Well, they did sell Forbidden Kingdom, which I was the high bidder for about 4 days on Forbidden Kingdom. Okay. And
Michelle,
I was like,
have
there's
to
no
know
shot that this horse is going to go for like this cheap. Yeah.
No.
But you just never know what happens if everyone's scared because he didn't run good and all this jazz.
You have to just wait till the day of. You can't do any bidding 4 days out.
I like to bid early, and then because then I can follow it, because then it sends me like messages constantly. You know what I mean?
You don't have enough going on that you're bidding 40,000.
Yes, I need to have that like ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what was that? What was that?
Sold for 310,000, which, I mean, now it'd be interesting to see if Legacy runs him or retires him and decides we're just going to breed him.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can do both because you're not going to breed anything this year. But I just wonder what they'll opt to do with him for the remainder of this year before the next breeding year starts.
Sure. Would be interesting. Pete Perella.
He'll be a nice addition to the Calbred ranks, though. He's American Pharaoh. He was super fast. He was precocious. He ran on both surfaces. I mean, really, you can't ask for much more for a Calbred sire.
Absolutely. I think I 100% agree with you. All right, Michelle. I think the people are tired of us. Let's get to Brook Smith.
Tired of us.
And then we'll have our close, and then I'll be off to Baltimore.
Me too, tomorrow.
All right. Brook Smith will join us when we come back. All right, back here on the Owner's Box with a very special guest today, Brook Smith. Brook, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We know you're at Valhalla. Just before we start talking horses, any picks for the PGA real quick?
Well, let me just say that the old fashions haven't stopped since the first Saturday of May here in Louisville. There's some kind of bourbon shed nearby, and for some reason I have like a homing pigeon to that thing. But
Yeah.
Louisville's
No, that makes a lot
Wait,
of
had
wait, I gotta know.
Louisville's
I gotta
had
know what the bourbon of choice is.
whatever's in the cup or glass, right? I mean, we around
Not
Louisville,
discerning.
we're partial. We're partial to Old Forester. That's gotta used to be you could get a handle of that, and that's all you needed. But then it became popular. And they have like a bunch of different versions and different years. So we're
Mhm.
partial to our home products. I'm involved in a couple actually bourbons. Own part of a distillery in Frankfurt called Castle and Key,
Oh,
which is
that's
Oh
great.
yeah, with Shannon Arvin.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. Early funder there, and then another bourbon brand called Barrel Bourbon with 2 L's.
Okay.
They don't actually distill; they source barrels and they do these blends that are award-winning and delicious, and always at barrel strength. So you have to be careful about that. But yeah, so here we are. We're here in Kentucky. The sun is out at Valhalla in some kind of a little pit next to the bourbon shed, and it's all good.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
That's awesome. Well, we're gonna talk Derby. We're gonna talk Sierra Leone. We're gonna talk all your philanthropic ventures that you do. But before that, just tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Just take us back how you got involved in horse ownership.
Yeah. I went to school in South Carolina.
Wow.
Hold on, there we go. I went to school in South Carolina, and when I came back, I know you're gonna have to bear with me. There's gonna be some technical difficulties here.
That's okay.
And so, one of my housemates when I first got out of school, how everybody packs in these houses, and one of my housemates, his father was in a syndicate that owned part of a horse named Laura's Pistolet that ran in the Humana Distaff, and this is probably 20 years ago. And she went off at like 29-1. We were at the track. Of course, she won. There's all these people jumping around. I mean, the excitement of the whole thing was just overwhelming. And I'd been around horse racing a little bit, but not really. And I was like, okay, this is something that I want more of. And when I'm in a position to be able to, buy part of a horse or get involved, I'm definitely doing it. So some years passed. Had a trainer named Danny Hutt who passed way too early. He was an incredible guy. He raced mainly in Kentucky. We had a lot of fun. We went to Keeneland in the spring and had too many Bloody Marys and decided we were going to buy like 14 or 15 yearlings come September.
That's a lot of Bloody Marys.
Yeah, well, it made sense at the time. Now we were spending on average probably 50,000 or less, so it wasn't like we went bonkers. We had to compromise. We had to compromise confirmation and what's up? I know, and I it suits me. Yes, I am. Good seeing you.
Very popular guy, Brook Smith. Very popular guy.
No. I mean, when you're a cartoon character that comes to life, you just got to lean into it. So, anyway, we bought all these horses. It was a small herd, right? I think Danny actually ran an article in the Wall Street Journal or something saying, "Hey, we're looking for some partners and some horses." And
in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, this guy was out of the box, and we found these 2 guys that were great. We created a stable at the time called Real Deal Racing, and we went to the sale. We bought like 15 yearlings. The cheapest was probably 15,000, and the most expensive might have been 125. And we had a herd. We shot them to Ocala. Spent the winter down there breaking them, and then we actually did pretty well. We had some stuff going on. We had a horse called Red Mask. It was one of our cheaper horses, and he won the Forerunner, which was a turf stake at Keeneland in the fall. Actually it was in the spring. I don't think they have that anymore. And then we had a horse that I named Bunkin' Ted after 2 contractor clients that I had in Eastern Kentucky, Bunk Goggins and Ted Naren. This horse belonged to me, a gray, and he won his first 3 races. His first race, he beat Perfect Drift, if you remember that horse. And then he ended up going off. He won the Sam F. Davis, and then he went off as a favorite in the Tampa Bay Derby. And Pat Day actually flew down to ride him. He was on the kind of the Derby watch list and all this crazy stuff. He ended up getting a quarter crack, and We ran him one Thanksgiving Day. He was fine. We ran him one Thanksgiving Day for like 10,000, thinking that nobody would claim it. We won by 10, and then we retired him. And we had the whole family out there. So we've had a lot of fun with that. We had another horse named Holy Burrito because there was a burrito lady like at most racetracks. Another grade by Holy Bull. And he again, there was a burrito lady like there is at most training facilities, racetracks. And this was in Ocala. And, you know, she's out there at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is lunchtime at these tracks. And she said, "This is a pretty great horse." He said, "Yeah, we haven't named him yet." She says, "You should." Who's this sire? I said, "The Holy Bull." She said, "You should name him Holy Burrito." So we named him Holy Burrito. He won a few times, and I guess the last one that bunch. This is kind of to wrap that up. That this is the entree, as they say, into the horse business. For me, we had a horse. The rules were I could go to the sale, but I couldn't do anything except for eat burgoo and drink bourbon. I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. I wasn't allowed to raise my hand, scratch my nose. And this is late in the sale. We've already bought, half the herd. And there was a horse. I can't remember who the sire was. But we were, maybe it's about Boundary, more of a turf sire, I think. And so we were trying to buy horses that were bred to go the Derby distance, right? That's what we were shooting for. And this horse, Danny was bidding on the horse and got to like 35, 40, and it kind of hung there. Didn't quite get over the top, going once, going twice. And this is after probably 3 burgoos and maybe 4 bourbons. I couldn't stand it. I had to raise my hand, going once, going twice. So I raised my hand, and Danny's sitting next to me, and he's like, "You just broke the rules." And so he's like, "This is great. This is a grass horse. At 35, we take the horse and maybe turn him into something, but not 40. And so they bring the slip over, we sign it. We named this horse Reverse Psychology, and because of the reverse psychology, and he won 7 times.
There you go.
So,
of course you did. You see, Brooke, you seem like you don't have any fun in life. Are you like, how do we make your experience in horse racing better? Why not just, get a horse like Sierra Leone?
Yeah, that's a whole nother wild ass story.
Well, we want to hear it. This is why you're here.
Yeah. So again, I've told this. It was interesting during Derby week. People come up and they ask the same questions, and every time I give a different answer.
That's good.
But
give us the real one. Give us the real one.
Yeah. Well, the real one is super lucky, right? I mean, so I made a career in the surety business, which is like this interesting facet of insurance, more like bank credit. I won't bore you with it, but construction companies need bonds, mining companies, waste companies, they all need bonds. And that's the success in that whole company and an agency, still in that business, but ended up getting involved with some guys in event insurance and sports and entertainment that were based in London. Younger guys, I'm 57, they're in their mid-30s, but really liked them. They're successful. They handle relationships like Live Golf and the Breeders' Cup. And so one of the 3 principals that I partner with is a guy named Charlie Pearson, who's John Magner's son-in-law.
There you go.
They knew. Yeah. So here's kind of like the connection. I mean, little did Coolmore know what poor Charlie was going to get him into. So, they're like, this guy is working with us. We're having some success. He's a nut job, but he has some horses. And so I got to know the folks over at Ashford, some of the Coolmore folks in Kentucky. Then I was in Ireland chasing down Irish whiskey barrels or something, and I ended up going to Tipperary, and it's just an incredible place that they have there. And had a lunch with John Magner, and which was great. All the history, and of course the general partners that stick together between John and Peter Brand and Michael Tabor and Derek Smith. I mean, I spent years just handicapping horses, and I would be looking through the form or a program, and I'd constantly see their names and their silts, right? And so they were like, you think Brooke might be interested in participating in a couple high-end yearlings with us? And look, in order to make those businesses work, they have a lot of partnerships, but at the same time, I think that they want to partner with people that maybe understand the business, appreciate it, but also, realize that they're the professionals, which, I try to shrink my lane every day. So I was invited to join. It was a Saratoga sale a couple of years ago, and I was on a flight actually to Italy or somewhere, and I was texting with Adrian over at Coolmore, and he said, these horses might go $1 million, $1.5 million. Would you be interested in owning a fifth or a sixth of a couple high dollar yearlings? And I'm like, yeah, one thing I haven't tried. And
Sure.
you guys are at the top of the food chain, and you're nice people, and I like Ireland, and I like you. And
Wait, I just find it so funny that this is the text. Like, hey, we're gonna buy something for $1 million or so. Are you in for 5%? Like, it's so crazy, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I ended up. I guess I'm in for a sixth. I'm in for we ended up buying 2 yearlings. Obviously, one was Sierra Leone. It was sale topper, and an expensive yearling, but on paper and in appearance made sense. And then the other horse we bought was we named Hall of Fame, who was on a Derby trail. It's a tough run. Some of these horses, as soon as they start telling you a little story, you just stop. And I appreciate that. The Coolmore is very disciplined as it comes to things like that. So he'll be back and turn into probably an incredible miler this late summer and fall, and we'll see what he can do. But so here we are, and I'm texting, and he's texting me. Adrian's like, hey, this horse might go for a little bit more, $1.5 million, $2 million. I'm like, look, I'm in for whatever, the sixth.
I'm good.
And so, we ended up buying those 2 yearlings, both gun runners, both well bred. One went to Steve Asmussen of the Hall of Fame, and obviously, Sierra Leone went to Chad. And just incredible. And then what you have to do, like most of this stuff, is it's time and patience. So you turn, whatever you thought about what could be off, and then you get an update every month or two. Hey, horse doing well. Horses in Florida, they like what they see. Blah blah blah. Goes into training, and everything's interesting. And with Sierra Leone, I was actually at the Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita this year, and Sierra Leone was making his first start at Aqueduct, and we had it on TV. Here he comes. He started his racing style early. Comes from behind, wide, and then lugs in and just has this gear. And so that's exactly what happened in that race. And there were some decent horses in there. I remember I was talking to Reeve McGahee, and they had one in there. One of the horses that was kind of on the Derby trail, and he's like, we really liked our horse, and you went right on by. You may have something. And I was like, well, we'll see.
Well, you went right on by pretty much everybody at the Kentucky Derby except for this much Mystic Dan. Tell us a little bit about that experience, just that day. What was it like?
I want to know about the whole week, because I feel like
the whole week, I can tell you, was a lot of drinking and a lot of fun. And I think Brooke was secretly a little nervous. I'll bet. That's my gut. Am I wrong?
Yeah, generally, I would say I'm the nervous type, but I've had so many experiences. After a while, you kind of get numb to it. I've been, everything but naked in a crowd, so maybe I haven't naked in a crowd. No. Anyway, so that week was surreal. I would get up every morning early, took some people to the backside. I would go to the backside. I try to stay out of the way. I don't want to, take away from anything. I respect, the program and the process.
You get to do the walkover?
I did, yes, which was amazing. Yeah. And there's a lot of people walking over. I thought there was less, but it was like a frenzy. I don't know what it looked like on TV.
200,000 people that walk over. I feel like it's so busy.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we only have this many passes, and then everybody, hell, I'm there, and one of my half-drunk friends is like, what's up? And I'm like, what are you doing here? But I'm glad you're here, So the whole thing was just an experience. The week leading up to it,
Was there one memory, Brooke, that one memory of the week that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I think it was Derby morning. I was kind of worn out. I'd only been sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. And I just decided I was going to get up even earlier on Derby morning and go out to the track by myself. And kind of fought my way through what were going to be soon barricades and everything else, and got to the backside. And, I walked.
Uh-oh. This was
I
such a
mean,
good
he
story.
was laid out, almost motionless, almost like if I didn't know better, I'd be like, "Is this horse sick? What's going on?"
Oh God.
He sleeps like that. He's
Sleeping.
just a sleeper. He's like a teenager. He wants to stay in the dark room and sleep. In fact, they even had to wake him up a few times to get him to the track. So, seeing him, and I looked at Chad kind of like, everything all right? And he was like, "This is very, very good." And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And then I found the burrito lady at Churchill. Got a steak burrito, and one of those Mexican sodas, and then I found a little spot, and there was nobody there yet, and that was magic to me. It was just, I'll never forget that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Brook Smith joining us here on the Owner's Box. What is Rocket Ship? What is the name?
Hold on, you're breaking up there. One more time.
Oh, I said, what is the Rocket Ship Racing? Where's that from? Is there a great story there?
Yeah.
Oh, look at the smile.
I mean, it's like, everybody knows me. For some reason, I love this little rocket ship emoji, and I send it all the time. It's like, it's either 1, 2, or 3. It's boom, 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 and the investment firm, or it's not a family office, but what I do private investing through, it's called Rocket Ship Launchpad, RSLP Ventures, right? And when I was involved with an entrepreneur program at Clemson, we decided to set up kind of like an aggregator of entrepreneurship at Clemson. We called it the launch pad. So it's just this rocket theme, because the rocket launch is exciting. I mean, there's a moment and there's a lot of work that went into getting the rocket ready, and then it's launching to somewhere, and it's generally, to the stars. So I like that. And then I named my racing stable Rocket Ship Racing, kind of in that same vein. There's, I still have 8 or 10 actually pretty nice horses since the Derby. Michelle Lobo has a couple horses. We had a third with a kind of a nice little turf knocker named Carnan. And then we had a really nice second with a horse we named Spider Woman that I own a partnership with some folks. And then
I like
there's
that
a few
one.
others out there. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so this is a racing stable. Look, you got to have fun. You got to, it's all about like the garb and the moments. These horses don't race very long, and the industry, the history, the people. Best thing also about Derby, because it gave me a voice for the Backside Learning Center, which, I've kind of hooked my wagon to over the last few years.
Yeah,
and
we want to know more about that. We want to know more about that. Go into that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's an organization that supports pretty much anything that a backside worker would require. A lot of them live there. They have kids. Everything from, my wife Pam. She's worked in the after-school program and can help them with homework or English. And then there's just things that we get at our fingertips that they don't have. Like, hey, we need to go to the store, so they'll run a van from the track to the supermarket, or they'll do some programming where they'll get them in the community, and they'll go to parks or museums, and so it's like super important. And as I started to learn about it, they had like an anemic budget. There wasn't any money there a few years ago, and now they're starting to get ahead of steam. We created this thing called Purses for a Purpose, where owners can give a percentage of their purses to support the Backside Learning Center and all that it does. All my horses are enrolled in it. I give 10% any purse that Leone or any other horse. Yeah, and others are starting to do it. Actually, with me yapping about it all Derby week, it was impactful. They've added a bunch of horses to that program. I made a side bet with John Stewart, since he likes kind of
he does
to be in the middle of things. I have no social media at all. I mean, you can't tag me. I don't have LinkedIn, nothing. But
that's
a lot
good.
of these folks do. A lot of business I'm involved in, don't get me wrong, they do, and it's a way of life now. But John, I had a bet which horse would finish first between ours, and unfortunately Sierra Leone did, and he wrote a very nice check to Backside Learning Center.
Oh, good.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's about.
That's really cool. I know you're very into it. I read a lot about that. Tell us a little bit. We talked about you getting into it. We talked about future plans for Rocket Ship? Are we going on these big horses? Are you doing things on your own? What does the next year look like for Rocket Ship Racing?
Billy just bought a More Than Ready in the digital sale. He's looking for a partner on.
No, I'm not. That's not true.
Okay.
We'll get you involved. We'll get you involved with Little Red Feather.
Yeah, no, I know a lot about what you do, and I know it's great. And that's what's exciting about this. You know, you guys have had success, and we'll have more success, and you have fun. You got to have fun, and you got to be respectful, revel in it. Obviously, the horses first, and then the backside workers in the community close second. I mean, people and horses, you got to take care of them at paramount. But so one of the horses that I have is named Be Here Now, and I try to tell myself that to stay in the moment, live in the moment with Sierra Leone. The second by a nose was a booger, but at the same time, you can't take it out of context. There was a lot of banging around. I'm sure if he won, the stewards probably would have taken a closer look and they'd have placed him, third or something. And he, there was some knocking. He's definitely a lot coming down the stretch. So again, I think Chad will figure him out, or he'll grow out a lot of that stuff. So excited about the Belmont, excited about Be Here Now. It's been on the shelf, kind of a allowance / little stakes contender knocker, and again with too many bourbons and no burgoo up at Saratoga last kind of Constitution filly. It was really well bred, and woke up the next morning and said, "That's."
Uh-oh. We're cutting in and out. You there?
Brooke?
Uh-oh. We were so close to greatness. Oh, he's back.
I know, we were so close. Look, all these people using their phones out here in Valhalla. What the hell? I guess we're betting on John Rahm or something. So anyway,
no, that's all right.
This Constitution filly, which has since been named Madam Secretary, and like,
I love that name.
I'm just curious about all this stuff. So I partnered with my racehorse, and I had 2 yearlings, she being one, and a really nice horse named Blue Devil that was a graded stakes placed horse who's had a little bit in.
Yep, Valhalla's killing us.
It was so good until now too.
It was good. But look how good he looks right now mid-sentence.
I know.
I hope our audience understands that. Brooke, you're cutting out badly. I'm sure you can hear us. You're back.
Let's try this again.
No, it's okay. You know what we're going to do? Give us a pick for the Preakness and for the PGA, and we'll let you go because I know you're busy.
Here we go.
Okay. Pick for the Preakness. Pick for the Preakness and pick for the PGA, and we'll let you go.
Yeah, sorry I'm so choppy here, but it's great speaking with you guys.
That's okay.
Oh no, it was so good. It was like the golf and racing gods came together.
Racing. Yeah. Okay, there you go. We're back.
Yes.
Give us the picks.
All right, so here you go. Here's the pick. I understand it. Muth is out. Is that correct?
Right.
Yep.
We heard that. Okay. So I think Caesar Gray is going to run a big race. Also, also Catching Freedom was right there in the Derby, and nothing against Mystic Dan. I'm excited to watch the race. I'm going to say Seize the Gray across the board, and you'll have more money in your pocket than when you started.
Dang.
What about PGA?
PGA, I'm going all in on John Rahm. I mean,
really?
I'm out here at the practice round. He's one of these guys that's very capable, and I just watched him play a hole and made a birdie. Looked pretty effortless. He was relaxed. He looked good in the paddock. He wasn't washed out, even though it's hot here. And
are they talking more about Rory's divorce out there or Tiger? Which one?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I heard some stuff about that yet. I hope they work all that stuff out. Tiger is Tiger. He won here, obviously, and he's a favorite for lots of reasons. Everybody pulls for Tiger. That kind of some tough things in his life, and it's he seems to have overcome them. So I mean, look, we go from the Derby to the PGA, and the old fashions continue to flow. I mean, what else does anybody want? Anyway,
we've taken
sorry
up too
for
much
such
of
a
your
choppy
time.
conversation.
Go back to drinking. We're going to do this again. We'll do it again after, maybe before the Belmont or after the Belmont. We'll get you back on.
Yeah, I'll call you a Sierra Leone over my shoulder, and I'll give you the inside scoop because, you know, we
Yes. I
You
love
got
it.
it. Thank you, Brooke. Have
All
fun,
right.
Thanks,
buddy.
Brooke.
Yeah, see you guys. Take it
Brook
easy.
Smith, Brook Smith, everybody.
He was
Enjoying
amazing. I love
I
him.
just wish we had better reception. It was that
You know
just
what though?
brutal,
We got a lot early, so that was great. We got all his nice stories.
but
So
we need people like that in our game. I
yes.
mean, gosh, he seems like such a fun
He's
guy
so smart and fun
the-
and like
and-
doesn't take
and the-
anything. Like I don't say doesn't take it too seriously, but look, he's just like, oh, you know, we didn't win, but hey, he ran a great race. Like
Right. I would have been.
loved it.
But how would you have felt if you owned Sierra Leone after that race? Would you have felt good about yourself? Could you not believe that you lost by a nose? How would you have felt?
I mean, but both, right? You're conflicted because look, you always say, I just want my horse to run the best race they can. So then when you get beat, you're like, well, they got beat. But then also you're like, dang, if I just could have done this or this, or I mean, like, yeah, we're this close to winning the Kentucky Derby. Like, you would have been disappointed, even if you're like not disappointed the horse, just the fact that you were so close, right?
Yeah, unbelible.
Not that you want to be greedy.
Hey, Michelle, maybe on our maybe when we tweet or the secondary tweet, you could put his philanthropy piece.
Yes,
I
will see if there is something to do about that.
Join in on that. He was great.
Fantastic, great get.
What do we have coming up at Santa Anita this week?
So coming up at Santa Anita this week, we obviously have live racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to have a limited edition California Chrome pin to be giving out. We're going to have a plush blanket giveaway on the weekend. If you are a player, we do have the $1,500 Preakness betting challenge. We're going to have the Cajun shrimp boil. We're going to have the family fun zone, happy hour at the Golden Road Lounge. The Coast to Coast Pick 5, which paid out massively last week.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But you're not going to be there.
No, I am going to be at Pimlico for the Preakness.
Now, what is your role this time? Are you betting ambassador?
Yes, I am a private betting ambassador for the chalet.
Oh, so I'm going to be with you.
Yeah, I think we were there. You were there last time with us. So yeah. So I'll be over there again, helping people that might not be familiar with obviously wagering, with how to use the machines.
Somebody on this broadcast had a really good gambling derby weekend. If you need any tips.
Good. Send me all your picks so I can give them to all these people.
There you go.
I don't have to handicap.
Brooke just texted. He said, sorry, so choppy. Enjoyed the chat. We enjoyed you, Brooke. So we'll do it again.
We loved him. He was fantastic.
All right. So, Michelle, I will see you in a day.
Baltimore. See you tomorrow in Baltimore.
Let's go. Owner's Box checking out. See you guys.
Bye.